Welcome back to another episode of NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. We're coming to you from our mobile podcast studio out here in Irvine, California. That's sponsored by Ochsner Health. So if you have any healthcare needs, make sure you check out their vast network. And if you're in the market for a new car, hit up my guy at Map Hours at one of his many dealerships throughout the region. He'll get you right. He'll get you in the car of your dreams at the best price with the best customer care, the best car buying experience that you can have. We're going to break down day 3 of training camp, and we are starting out live here for NOF members. If you are not yet a member of the website, make sure you take care of that. You get the shows early. You get all of our news, our analysis. You can use the code CAMP24 to save 20% on your first payment. And like I said, we got a great show for you guys. We're going to break down day 3 of training camp, kind of give you a global view of everything we've seen through the first few days of camp, and so much more. So stick with us right after this quick word from our sponsors. Ochsner Health inspires healthier lives and stronger communities through a combination of standard-setting expertise, quality, and connection not found anywhere else in the region. To learn more about how Ochsner empowers people to get well and stay well, visit ochsner.org. Long live you. The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. Time for a new watch? Go check out Friend & Company Fine Jewelers' wide array of Breitling watches at their showroom on Maple Street. They have every type of watch that you want, and they can get you right for any type of occasion. And while you're there, check out their engagement salon. They'll make sure you find the perfect ring for that special someone. Their experienced staff offer 5-star customer care to help you find the perfect watch, ring, or whatever else you're looking to buy. Visit them today. Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, 7713 Maple Street between Adams and Burdett. 504-866-5433, or visit them at friendandcompany.com. Looking for the best insurance coverage at the lowest price? Look no further than Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They are a local independent insurance agency right here in New Orleans, specializing in home, flood, and auto insurance. Their agents are born and raised in the area and understand our community's unique needs and the homeowners insurance crisis our residents are currently in. At Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, their dedicated team will shop every available carrier in the market, ensuring you get the most comprehensive coverage at the lowest possible price. They know your time is valuable, which is why they work diligently to provide you with the quotes as soon as possible. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Trust Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, to protect what matters most to you. I do. I've been a client of theirs since 2021. When we couldn't find someone to insure our house because of the big oak tree growing over top, Chabert worked until they found someone that would work with us and give us the protection that we need to feel safe in our new home. Call them today at 504-326-6526 or visit them online at Protected by Chabert. That's 504-326-6526. Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, your local insurance experts. Hardhide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey is an 86 proof blend of aged wheat bourbon, American light whiskey, and fresh Ponchatoula strawberries. Blended in New Orleans, it is not for the thin-skinned. Look for it in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. NewOrleans.Football is proud to be sponsored by Firehouse Subs. Make sure you check out their location on Veterans Boulevard. All right, let's get into the show. Welcome back to the Ochsner Health Podcast Studio. It is now time for the lead presented by Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. I'm looking at the right camera now, so it is go time for this show. Friend & Company Fine Jewelers are the official jewelers of the New Orleans Saints, and they should be the official jeweler of your next Breitling watch. If you want to watch, you're in the market for one, make sure you go down there and check it out. All right, what we got?
We got the lead topic, man. Let's get into it. What concerns us 3 days into camp? On offense, we know who the go-to guys are. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Alvin Kamara. But besides that, it gets a little murky. So who can step up and where are the areas of concern on this team?
It was actually a pretty good day for the offense today, but nonetheless, it's like when they start cycling in whoever's third at every position or frankly first at tight end and second at running back, it gets so thin. And we were watching on the sideline today, and I think that's been something that stood out for Nick. So I'll let Nick take the lead on this because you guys charted every throw Carr made. It was a really good day for him, but God, it feels like the weight of this offense is on Chris Olave's shoulders. It feels like he's doing all the heavy lifting. Shaheed had a couple nice plays today, but But I think we're noticing the thinness of the skill position players.
Yeah, I don't know that we've really seen anything from A.T. Perry to this point, so
Yeah.
that's a little bit of a
Catch
concern.
today.
He could step up a little bit and get some stuff going, but there hasn't been much impact going back through minicamp. There wasn't much, so that's kind of something that I'm a little bit looking at. Why is it going slow? Is it slow to pick up the offense? Is it just lack of opportunities? There's something that's holding him back right now that they need to figure out, because we see Cedric Wilson out there, and he's not wide receiver 3. I don't think he's should be that. He could get pressed into it, and he'd try his best and do a commendable job. But you're a better team if he can slot in as the 4th guy. He wasn't signed to be someone that was kind of relied upon heavily, and right now he's kind of in position to have to do that. Bub Memes, some good, some bad. I mean, I think it's pretty inconsistent there. I thought we liked Equiminius St. Brown during minicamp. Don't think that we've really seen any, and it's 3 days, so it could be overstated, but we haven't really seen anything from him since then. So it is kind of Olave and Shaheed, and then there's kind of a huge drop off. So yeah, I mean, I think it's something that we need to see more out of all these guys. They need to get some more production coming from somewhere. I thought it was a good sign. Brandon posted the video earlier. Jawan Johnson was out there kind of doing some stuff on a jugs machine. He's part of that solution. It isn't just wide receivers.
Yeah.
Like, if he can get out there and play,
well, that at least takes an even bigger concern, I think. Right.
Well,
now.
yeah, but that would I mean, that would take the edge off of the tight end spot a little bit if he's available, because that's real bad right now too. So I think you get that missing piece back, and that kind of helps a little bit, and it's just a wide receiver issue, really. But, I mean, they need to find playmakers.
No, they definitely do. I mean, I think you talked about Cedric Wilson. He made up today kind of for his goof yesterday, giving up that interception and putting that on Derek Carr's record. He kind of challenged himself, because you could see the way he was fighting to get to the ball and make sure he had possession, surviving the ground, all those type of things like that. So I think he's a player that kind of stepped up a little bit, but it's still very, very murky when it comes to that wide receiver 3. And running back, I mean, Kendra, he's out of the mix, but, Jordan Mims is stepping up and he's doing some things. They had shoulder pads on today, shells, so they were able to pop a little bit. So, you see people breaking through the line and stuff like that, but it's definitely still a little murky.
Yeah, Jamal Williams is obviously in the mix, and he's a solid pro, hopefully better than he was for this team last year, especially if he's pressed into a bigger role. And Taysom Hill needs to be mentioned here. I'm continually excited about everything he's doing out there. I mean, if you just came and watched this team, you would think he was George Kittle or something. I mean, right. he probably has led the team in touches over minicamp, OTAs, and training camp combined. So they have guys, but God, it just gets so thin so quick. And I think that's been one of the apparent things.
I'm just trying to figure out, how do I make it look like I'm looking at you, B, when you're talking to? Am I doing it right now? Like, does it look like I'm looking at you? Is that how I got to do it? I got to look down?
Nah, come up.
Come up right there? Which way?
That way.
Towards you?
Yeah. No, the other way, towards Mike.
All right.
There we go.
There we go. That's it. I got it.
Brady Bunch
I got it. I got it. All right.
Now I see what
Yeah. All right, that's how you get it. That's how you get it.
So wait, hold on a second.
Who am I looking at?
Am I looking at Brandon now?
No, you're looking at Mike.
I'm looking at Mike.
You gotta like look up. Yeah.
All right, bet. We're good. Because I'm for sure. But another thing that happened today, hated to see it. Because of the thinness, we got very worried. Lattimore went out.
Yeah.
DA later described it as a hip flexor injury, but that could spell disaster back there. You got players back there who are starting to, get in there and make a little bit of plays at this time, but come the season, you're going to need that to be shored up for sure.
No, that's a good point, Brandon. That's definitely that's tough though, for real. Like real talk, that's tough. Seeing him go out too, it's such a momentum killer too. He was the first guy out on the field today that we saw. Like, he's out there going through everything he needs to do to get ready for practice, drilling his technique. The only DB on the field. He's locked in. Like, there was high energies. He's kind of going through like his setup to get ready for practice. And, just seeing that buy-in after the whole offseason, like, it was the first thing I wrote down in my notebook. And it was just like, man, this is good to see. Like, he is bought in, he's locked in, he's ready to go. And poof, gone. Like, and it might only be a couple week injury, nothing crazy. But it's still
for the day.
You don't want any setback with that player though at this point. And that's
or
not
any
good.
sign that actually missing all the time he missed in the offseason is an issue. Like, I mean, I just did a story about how he trains by himself in the offseason every year and who he trains with and things like that. So I know he takes it seriously. body maintenance and stuff. But you can't help but, the one guy who didn't show up all summer is the one guy who's hurt in the first week of camp. You automatically connect those dots sometimes. But yeah, hopefully this one is very minor because he's one of the best reasons for optimism. That position itself doesn't worry me that much. I mean, but Lattimore was our number one player on the team. But just anybody who we ranked in our top 10 best players on this team, I've never feared their absences more than the Saints rosters of the last year or two. Like, this is a team that just can't afford to lose top 10 players because they only have so many of them to start with.
For sure. And that'll take us into our next segment presented by New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company. Lattimore was out, which pushed Kool-Aid McKinstry up. He got a lot of play at corner today. Alante, he came in, the big play of the day was Chris Olave on Alante. Nick, you were right there in front of it. You said Alante played it pretty tight, but
I mean, it was a good enough throw that Chris Olave ran up to him afterwards and said, "Man, that was a great throw, great placement on it." And Derek was like, "Just trying to put it somewhere you can have a chance at it." I mean, I thought Alante had bumps today, but he had, none of this stuff was egregious. Like, I thought he just got beat by an amazing throw. Like, in my opinion, what I saw, I saw a guy go up, he jumps, he has his hand up, Chris jumps a little bit higher. Keith Williams pointed to it as like a moment, hey, look, we've been trying to get him to make contested catches. We're working on it. And there's proof positive. And it's a good play. I thought Kool-Aid looked good today, though. He got beat on one throw. I think I had him in coverage on one pass that got completed, but it was competitive. We've seen him be kind of competitive on everything. He looks patient and zone, which is a good thing. Very small sample to this point. I'm excited to see him in one-on-ones and all this stuff. But so far, I think everything you want to see, he moves well, he turns well, he presses, he jams with intensity. All that stuff is stuff that you want to see out of him. And it's kind of seems like as advertised to this point. But again, he hasn't been highly tested yet. So I think, there's still a lot more to learn. But through the very, very small sample that we've seen, I like what we're seeing out of him.
Yeah, I was kind of following the play. It was funny. I was following the play where Kool-Aid was at on a lot of plays. There was an interception earlier in 7-on-7s that happened somewhere else, and I was just watching Kool-Aid. The play where I'm trying to remember if he was on the field when Alante got beat. Because Alante was on the outside.
On Olave?
Was it base or was Kool-Aid? Was that the one snap where Kool-Aid moved inside?
Yeah.
But it was funny because I was concentrating on Kool-Aid to see how he was doing, where some of the biggest plays happened at other parts of the field, which means they weren't even attacking a Kool-Aid on a lot of those plays. He was really I probably watched him on about 12 snaps today where he was doing his job. There was the one completion, but it wasn't anything egregious. So I kind of liked just the smooth transition because 2 days ago we had never seen him do team drills. Now we're seeing him play 10 snaps of first team drills today because Marshawn was out and they were in nickel. He only did the one snap inside during walkthroughs. He was the second team slot, but they weren't using him that way, especially with Marshawn out. So, but a good polished start. That is absolutely going to be a battle all summer long. That's going to be a neck and neck battle, I think.
Usually during the individual drills, you see just routine things. But one thing that stood up today about Kool-Aid is his speed. I didn't realize how fast his feet were. When I went back and looked at the video, I was like, I know I didn't have the camera set to shoot high speed. But then when I looked again, I was like, man, this dude's footwork is insane. And that's a testament.
It's fluid.
Fluid is a great word to describe it. It's a testament to his discipline on perfecting his craft. Everybody out there does, but so early, his ability to just hone in on that type of stuff and do that. And even when he lines up against other receivers, the older guys like Cedric Wilson, I saw today you could tell by how, I don't know. It's just you got to be there. You could tell by the way they lean in pre-snap, okay, I'm about to take this dude to the back of the shed. You know what I mean? But Kool-Aid didn't really buck. He didn't buck too much off of it and really fold. So he stayed fast and just more reps. More reps is going to get him better and better and better. That's how I feel.
I will say this: Chris Olave, that catch against Alante Taylor is a great catch, and we said this yesterday that Olave has just been a guy that when they throw it up near Olave, he comes down with it. Except one guy's been a little bit of kryptonite for him, and that's Paulson Adebo, and he did it again today. I mean, the throw kind of went out of bounds on a deep throw, but they went deep for Olave and took one of those shots very similar to what they did against Alante Taylor, and Adebo was just lock on him. Yeah. And I don't know if Olave would have had a chance at it or if it would have sailed out of bounds or if he'd have stepped out of bounds if he caught it. But, man, Adebo's bringing it this camp so far.
Yeah, the thing about Kool-Aid too, that's the thing that made him a good prospect was the polish. I don't think He's a good athlete, but like
Yeah.
he doesn't have like the tremendous athletic upside of like some other guys. It's the polish, it's the ability, it's the technique. It's kind of the what you see is what you get type of thing. And yeah, I thought that we've seen that so far to this point. But yeah, to your point too, I think Adebo's look great so far. Yeah.
Quiet, but yeah, looks real
quiet
good.
in a good way.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
He blew a coverage today. Who was it? Cedric Wilson scored the long touchdown.
That was
he
him
blew,
on
he
that
blew
one.
a coverage on that. But outside of that, he's looked really good.
But the reason that popped in my head is because you said we haven't seen one-on-ones yet, and this is just like I moved 3 steps ahead. But the point I was gonna chime in with was I can't wait to see Kool-Aid in one-on-ones. I'm sure he'll hit some hurdles.
Yeah.
And then I immediately thought I can't wait to see Adebo Olave one-on-ones because they've both been killing it except for when they go head-to-head.
Let's go deeper back, man. Jordan Howden, he had a pick today. He made a name kind of make sure that you remember my name in terms of that battle between him and Jonathan Abram. What did y'all observe from him today?
Yeah, he had the pick. He got some first team reps. Jonathan Abram moved down. I wonder if Abram's just base safety because he plays good downhill. I wonder if they just want him on there when there's a possibility of running is higher. He's a better run defender. And then in more pass apparent situations, maybe it'll be Jordan Howden and Will Harris. Will Harris got first team reps today too. I like Will Harris. I think Will Harris, like, he's in that like Lonnie Johnson,
that's a fair comp.
Yadam type of like veteran DBs that they bring in. But I think he's probably better than that. Like, I think he looks back. Like, he caught my eye on day 1, on day 2, day 3, he's in the starting lineup. Like, I really, really like the stuff that we're seeing out of him so far. I think he has a pretty good chance of making the team just early on. But yeah, I mean, Jordan Howden, I think has got out there. He's I know they have high expectations for him. I've talked to people that expect him to be someone that like develops and can become like just somebody that's a good example for other players. Like, he's somebody that does things pretty much the right way. I think there's still polish that has to come with that. But I know people inside the building really, really like him. And, I think he's just being brought along at the pace to where, like, okay, you got to earn it. You aren't going to be given anything. They want him in a very big role. So I think it's good to put him in a spot where he's just kind of work toward it, take it, and, it's not just granted you. And I think he's going to do the things. I think at the end, when it all shakes out, I think he's safety too, with Tyrann Mathieu being safety.
Yeah, it's interesting having not only Jonathan Abram but also Will Harris there, and Roderick Teamer, who had an interception the other day, is an NFL veteran, a little closer to a JT Gray type than an actual like starting safety, but there's still Houghton's going to have to earn it because there's veterans there, but the path is there for him to earn it for sure.
Yeah. We're going to hit a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue to break down day 3 of training camp and hit the Martin questions of the day. Keep it locked to NewOrleans.Football.
Total Maintenance is one of the largest locally owned home and commercial service providers in South Louisiana. They were founded in 1980 and serve the greater New Orleans and Baton Rouge markets. And Total Maintenance wants to show some love to our NOF listeners. They have a membership program that gets you 2 tune-up visits for AC and heating, as well as club membership discounts of 15% on all repairs, half off of all diagnostic charges, and 3-year warranties on most repairs for membership clients. This is usually priced at the low price of $24.95 a month per system, but if you tell Total Maintenance that you found them through NOF, they'll lower the price to $20.95 per month per system for as long as you keep the membership active. It will never increase. Total Maintenance has a tune-up special running this summer for $79, down from the normal price of $179. This is a one-time offer for one system only. They also offer a free diagnostic on second opinions on units deemed to be unrepairable, and they offer free estimates for replacements as well as commercial maintenance programs. Services include AC and heating service and replacement, electrical service, plumbing service, as well as generator service and installation. They are Total Maintenance. Find them at tm-ac.com or give them a call at 504-841-3300, or if you're in the Baton Rouge area, 225-480-1000.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of stepping into your dream home. At Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union, we can help make that dream a reality with a team dedicated to you. When you partner with Jefferson Financial, you do so for the life of the loan. Having a single point of contact when questions arise is invaluable. Our experts are here to guide you every step of the way. There's no better time to invest in your future. Apply online at jeffersonfinancial.org. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
Shrimp Rummelog combos are back at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company. Zesty shrimp rummelog served with fried shrimp, catfish, or soft-shell crab starting at $10.99. Or try one of our spring specials, catfish le feet or lemon caper fish with crab meat, now at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company.
Martin Wine and Spirits is home to a selection of hand-picked barrel select bourbon, whiskeys, and much, much more. They are family owned and operated since 1946 and specialize in wine, spirits, gourmet food, gift baskets, catering, and tasting events. They have many locations, so they're never too far away. You can check them out in Metairie, New Orleans, Mandeville, and Baton Rouge, or if it's more convenient, you can always shop online. Whether you're a wine novice or a seasoned collector, you'll enjoy the Martin Wine and Spirit experience.
Welcome back to the Oshner Health Podcast Studio. It is now time for our next segment, presented by Shawberry Insurance, the Earhart Agency. Today, we introduced something new at practice, heat maps. We heat mapped and charted Derek Carr's throws throughout 7-on-7 and team. What did you see from D. Carr? He was 6 or 7 today.
He looked good today. Yeah, looked really good. And he should. This is what we've been saying about him forever. When there's no pressure on him and everything, Derek Carr is a talented quarterback with a good arm. In this setting where everything's clean and sterile, he should be lighting it up. And, but he did. You still got to do it. He went out there and did it in the circumstances that were presented to him. 2 passes down the field, 2 passes around, that deep 10 to 20 yard range, couple shorter ones. And his only miss was just a pass that was way outside, almost looked like a throwaway almost at a certain point. But I thought he looked really good today, looked sharp. Definitely his best day at camp. I think it's been kind of shaky for the offense up until today. And it felt like today they were able to do and show some of the things that they want to be able to show.
My favorite thing in theory about him in this offense is play action. Seen a little of that, but not a ton of that.
106 passer rating in play action.
Right. No, but I'm saying in camp.
No, last year though.
Right.
No,
but to be able to tell if that's actually going to, we're still waiting to see it. I mean, obviously the live action running when they haven't even had pads on yet. They'll have pads for the first time Monday. But my favorite thing that I had seen all spring was the quick game. It just felt like, oh, he's going to complete 73% of his passes this year because the quick game is just so efficient. He's getting the ball out quick. Today, though, funny enough, on the day that you guys decided to do this throwing chart and this heat map for the first time, do you think there would have been 4 green dots as far down the field at any practice we've seen yet?
No, it's been a lot.
I feel like they took more shots today than they had.
It's been a lot of checking down. Yeah, I don't feel like they've been able to kind of really get things going too much. Peterman has gone down the field. Jake Hayner's aggressive as hell every practice. He goes down the field. But yeah, I mean, the first team offense, no, it's been limited. I think the defense has played really good. Today kind of opened up a little bit and they had some opportunities. And no, I mean, I agree with that for sure.
So if this is a sign of quick game leads to these kind of opportunities, you feel even like it's like the next evolution. I mean, it's hard not to be optimistic about how it looks so far while acknowledging how early it is.
The only other time we kind of saw something like this offseason was in minicamp practice 1, where he had a bomb in the back of the end zone to Olave, and he caught it on Lattimore. But besides that, they've been very subdued when it comes to the deep ball.
Minicamp practice 1, they were doing a red zone drill, live red zone drill.
Actually, even today's today's Friday? Yes, on Thursday, Clint Kubiak was yelling at him, "Can we get an explosive? Can we get an explosive?"
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, so I mean,
you know what? I'll take the free money. I'll take the free money throws. I'm ready to be bored by this offense. I'm ready for 11 play drives.
Just score the ball. That's all you gotta do. Just score the ball. Well, now it's time for our next segment presented by Hard High Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey. Last week, you all had a chance to have Willie Snead on the show, which gave you a chance to flex, kind of like on who a sleeper was. You had him pegged as a sleeper back when y'all were at the Greenbrier during training camp, but now, 3 days in, who's a sleeper to make this team?
So I already said my guy. I mean, I think for me, it's Will Harris. I think Will Harris is kind of my guy that I think, a little bit kind of under the radar, got signed. Nobody really talked about him. Wasn't really looked at during the summer or the spring rather. And, now he kind of looks like to me someone that has a really good chance to make the team. So I think he'd probably be at my top of the list of guys that were under the radar that now it's like, okay, if I was making a 53 today, he'd be on my 53. Does that mean he's there at the end? No, but I mean, right now, to this point, it looks like he's kind of separating a little bit from the rest of the pack of that the second tier safeties.
Yeah. Do you have a name ready to go?
Yeah.
Who do you got?
I was gonna entertain Will Harris because DA really going, good job, 5. But I think unless Kendrick can't come back, James Robinson might be able to make this team. James Robinson might be able to make this team. He had.
Oh, we're getting more Jordan Mims love there. A new name.
Is Mims a sleeper at this point? Memphis feels like
because he gets
he
real
will be,
PT.
like, we've talked about him enough that you stop calling him a sleeper.
Yeah.
But like if we're reviewing this if we're doing this next year, we'll be like, who's this year's Jordan Mims? Like his narrative would be a guy that came out of nowhere this summer.
Right.
But at this point, we've seen so much of him that it would feel like cheating if you picked him.
they loved him like since day one. Like,
I know.
they saw something before anybody. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but with the thinness at running back, seeing James Robinson come in kind of with his veteran experience and being able to, we'll see when they hit full pads and the line is able to really fully get down in the trenches and block for him. But I mean, without Kendra, you got Jamal Williams and AK, and then everybody else. So I think James can make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, mine. I don't know if mine feels like cheating or not, but it's another one that like we weren't talking about when they signed him. We weren't talking about when it happened. I think Lucas Patrick is going to start double-digit games for this team. They had him come in. The competition is already now wide open with him and Nick Saldiveri at left guard. He got to run with the ones. They switched back to Saldiveri at the end, and there were a couple drills where it started with Patrick and went to Saldiveri. But it has now become all right, these guys are rotating at that position. And I don't think that means that Saldiveri is doing a bad job. I think they identified pretty quickly when they got Lucas Patrick in the building that they got like a real pro. And where does he fit? Because they've played him at left guard. They played him at center. They played him at right guard. Sometimes he does all three in the same set of team drills. If Saldiveri earns that job, then Lucas Patrick is going to be the sixth offensive lineman. He's going to be active in every game. He's going to be the first backup at center. He's going to be the first backup at both guard spots. I think he might win the starting left guard job.
I think he has a good chance.
Yeah.
So that makes you feel. I mean, like I said, we're talking James Hurst, Senio Calamete, Andres Pete level, like decent enough veteran that you can rely on. I'm not trying to say he makes the offensive line way better. Just makes you feel a little bit like, all right,
plays his role.
A guy who started a lot of games, full-time starter in the NFL recently, and Andrew Janocka was on that staff when he was a full-time starter, so he knows him firsthand. Some of the other names that I would put on this are linebackers. It was Orgy one day. It was Jalen Ford one day. It was Kalika Hudson yesterday.
I like Orgy.
Orgy's been having a great camp. Yeah.
But Orgy, I feel like I see Orgy make plays and mess up, or at least since we hear Michael Hodges' review of every play, I feel like Orgy is still a work in progress, but like high ceiling, maybe low floor. But I just don't know. I mean, I can't pick any of them because they're all fourth at best at a position where only two guys play. So, I mean, are they ever going to do anything other than special teams? I don't know. But that's where some guys are popping for me for sure.
Orgy has consistently made plays.
He makes loud, successful.
He makes loud plays. Yeah, for sure.
And that I'm kind of. I never put him on the list because I figured his playmaking ability would lead to him being on the squad. And it's not really a sleeper because with the second and third unit, he's very loud in terms of his play. But is anybody surprised that none of the other two went with a rookie?
What do you mean the other two?
Oh, for these?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've talked about Dallin Holker before, but that's more about opportunity at that position too than necessarily anything he's done in the first.
He just doesn't qualify as a sleeper anymore. To be
He's
honest,
locked in his tight end too.
Yeah.
Another guy I thought about saying, Regzon Wright. He's flashed here and then at corner, and I believe he had one of the picks today, right? Didn't he have the pick against Nathan Peterman? But again, I don't see the path. So all the linebackers and DBs who stood out other than Will Harris, any corner or linebacker, I think they've got to impress Darren Rizzi more than anything they do, on the actual defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We're only 3 days in, so it's a lot of ball left to be played. Now it's time for our next segment, the Martin Wine and Spirits questions of the day. Martin's is home to a wide selection of handpicked brown select bourbon, whiskeys, and more. Martin's, so much more than just wine. Today's first question is, any updates on the punter and kicker battles?
I think Hayball has a shot. I think Hayball has a shot of winning the punter battle. I think he has a better leg. I think it's a real battle. I mean, look, there's a lot of consistency that has to go into it. He shanked one yesterday, but I mean, he's hanging that thing way longer. I have no idea how they evaluate this anymore because it's like last year. It felt like they weren't getting what they needed out of Headley, and then it's Rizzi was kind of like adamant about his defense of it. It's 38 yards, but they aren't returning it at all. But like, I just can't get over the thought process of like, sometimes a 53-yard punt that gets returned 7 yards is better than giving up 39 that doesn't get returned at all. I don't know. I don't know how
also
they're
has that
evaluating
Aussie
it.
stuff too. I mean, he can do a little both too. So yeah. And Headley could do a little of both. Yeah, I think it's wide open. Headley had one like great day in OTAs or minicamp where it felt like, if he takes a step forward, then he's going to be hard to supplant. But I didn't chart today. I didn't love what I was seeing from Headley today, but they were also doing some directional stuff. So it was
directional stuff with him looked pretty good. I mean, he was putting them out, but then with the non-directional, it's just like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's just Hayball hangs it and it soars. Like I don't know. Their evaluation of it is what it is. For me, looking at it, I'm someone that didn't like how it went last year. Hayball looks more visually appealing, but I can't. I don't necessarily understand the whole process of the Lou Headley evaluation. They really, like I said, adamant defense and like of it. So. I don't know. Their standard is their standard. If they like what Headley's doing, then Headley's still here, and he might be the front runner for it. But man, it's hard not to think that Hayball has a real chance.
As far as kicker, I mean, it's hard not to think. Groupie stayed ahead all offseason. He's actually 15-15 in camp, but the 8 of 8 the other day were very, very short kicks. Today it was more of the go back and do it from 30-something, 40-something. And he had 2 that barely went in. Charlie Smith missed 1 of his 4 attempts the other day. I feel like it's Groupie's job to lose, and I haven't seen robot-like perfection from Groupie. He had a couple bad days, or at least one bad day on a windy day in OTAs and minicamp. He's had a couple he still feels a little bit more like a B than an A right now to me, but I don't know that the other guy's breathing down his neck. So
Nick and I were watching it from the other side, and then I'm tracking the ball, and I look, and I was like, yo, is that Mike back there behind the pylons?
I could have caught a couple of them if I wanted.
That's what I thought. I was like, man, is Mike going to get back there?
I was worried that if I tried to catch one, they'd kick me out from that spot. We finally have access to actually stand behind the goalpost. Our kicker reporting has never been more accurate.
Yeah. Now it's time to hit the next question. Which preseason game do you think we will see the most starters get playing time?
So this is a really interesting question to me. First of all, I think the answer is first, because that's what it was last year. They treated it's been so different since they switched to 3 preseason games. It used to always be the second and then the third. Last year it was the first, and then they liked what they saw from Derek Carr and the first string offense so much that they sat him for the rest of the preseason. And this year it would make sense to do that again, because then they have the Niners coming in for joint practices the next week, and they get game-like work with the Niners. They might not then need to go and play them in the second week. So my guess is we see them in the first preseason game. But I think with a brand new offense and some slow starts for the offense in recent years, I think they should consider playing them in multiple games this year. I thought it was surprising when you asked DA the other night about if they're going to do anything to try to combat their slow starts, and he got defensive and said, well, we won our openers last year. I think our bigger problem has been a midseason lull. I think this team has started terrible the last 2 years. They were lucky to win their opener both times, and I didn't think they looked that good.
What was it, 17-16 last year or something like that? Yeah.
16-15 against, and then they barely beat Carolina in week 2, and then they lost their next 2. The year they luckily beat Atlanta in week 1, then started 1-3. I don't think this has been a good starting team at all. So I was disappointed.
I mean, I don't either. I don't think they'll change it up. I think it'll be week 1. They'll get a ton of work against the 49ers.
Yeah, that would be the reason
they'll be the guys
to play in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you though. Like I wouldn't hate seeing them just go out there, do the dress rehearsal, run if it's even against the San Francisco 2s, you're running a series against them just to kind of get used to it, get into the game flow, get the headset going. Just
with
all
this
that
new
stuff.
Offense, geez, I'd like to see 1 quarter in the first game, 2 quarters in the second game. Like not even, much less 1 drive last year. I mean, I sort of get it, and injuries, will derail this team. But man, they gotta hit the ground running this year, man.
Yeah, no, they definitely do, and not just a little taste. I need a hit of the meal. I need a hit of the meal. Yep. Well, that'll do it for this episode of NewOrleans.Football. For those who are subscribed, stick around for overtime, because y'all are filling up the chat already. So we're gonna satisfy y'all and answer y'all questions. For those who aren't signed up yet, what are you doing? Because even though they don't have open practices right now in California, subscribing to NewOrleans.Football is the closest thing you'll get to being on the field and seeing the action. Overtime is next. Catch you next time.